suggest you get out of here. But you're gonna have to call Uber.
Dad, put the fishing pole down. Don't do anything, he's recording.
When the judge gets a hold of this. Hey, sexy.
Oh man, so beware of all handouts from shady people. Why am I saying that? Oh, we gonna get to it. Just remember that point. Beware of all handouts from shady people. So y'all read the title, man. A black farmer is having his farm legally stolen from him by millionaire squatters. Yeah. So this is Derrick Williams of Newborn, Georgia. And he's been in a year-long battle to save his farm from squatters that's being aided by alleged corrupt local judges. Now this story is bizarre. Some things I can't even tell you, and I gotta just point you in a certain direction that you can get the rest of the stories from that place over there. But what I can tell you is that Derrick has 100% ownership of his farm, his business, and his home. The deed for this home is in Derrick's name. But still, this family full of Karens has figured out a way to legally steal his farm, his home, his animals right from under this man's feet, dog. Quite frankly, they're the richest squatters that you ever gonna see in your damn life. This story is so complex, so I'm going to use the help from Derrick and a TikToker by the name of Nerdy Pink Panda to help break this whole thing down for me. So I'm going to put their information in the comment section. Well, I'm sorry, the description below for sure is going to be in there, so you can go ahead and see more information to continue following this story, because it's constantly developing. As I'm saying this right now, more shit happening in this story, though. So simply, I'm doing as the brother wishes and helping spread his story out with my platform. So here goes Nerdy Pink Panda breaking down what's going on in this story.
So what led up to this Karen from hell coming after a black man in his own home? Well, last night I spent hours researching, interviewing, and essentially teaching myself Georgia estate law. And here's how it happened. Derrick Williamson did ministry work through his church in Conyers, Georgia. And in 2021, Janet Hardy here approached Derrick telling him that she had inherited a large amount of money from her parents' estate and that God told her that she was to put it back in the church through his ministry. They both put in money together to buy this property. Granted, her contribution was larger, and then together they took out a mortgage for the sum of the rest of the property. Now, Janet Hardy was going to continue to pay the mortgage, but in July of 2021, she did sign over the entire property to Derrick's business. Here's both their signatures and an official notary. Derrick is also the only stockholder of the company. Here's the corporate division officially filed with the Secretary of State. Jordan Hardy here unexpectedly became pregnant, and she also was dealing with substance abuse problems. Her father, open mic night Charlie Chaplin here, told Jordan that she wasn't allowed to terminate the pregnancy, and Jordan threatened to unalive herself. Derrick, who was very close with the family at the time, offered to let them all move into the spare bedrooms on the property so that he could help minister and be a friend to Jordan in this time of need, and then they could work the land and volunteer where they can, etc., etc. One thing you might want to know before we get into the next part of this, though, is that James, aka Jay Hardy, is actually a millionaire. He's a landlord who owns many properties. So they didn't need this place. In exchange for this arrangement, Janet said that she would take on the full mortgage and the utilities for this arrangement. Now in April of 2022, things started to go sideways, and we have a video to accompany this.
That is none of your stuff.
Get out of my way. Get out of my way and get away from me. Get out of my way and get away from me.
She told you
Get out of my way and get away from me. Get out. Wait, take your hands off me. Take your hands off me. Ah, snap. I'm going to call off. Hey, I'm recording all this. Move out of my way. Get out of my way. I'm calling law enforcement now. I'm calling law enforcement against you all now.
Unsurprisingly, it wasn't long until the Hardys started gaslighting Derrick into thinking he owed them. They felt entitled to business decisions. They felt like the home was theirs and he was just living in it. Derrick was trying to retrieve business documents out of that drawer there, but they were trying to make it sound like it was their furniture and he wasn't allowed in it. In the aftermath of that incident, Claire Hardy, in another video, goes on a rant about how Derrick is a monster and he should be so thankful and grateful about what her mom has done for him and good luck finding another place to live. All while in the background, Jay Hardy is watching Sean Hannity, which told me everything I need to know about this family. Unshockingly, when Derrick called the police for help, they didn't. In fact, the opposite. Now, after this incident with the Hardys, Derrick tried to file a stay-away order, but in court, the women all said that Derrick was the one who attacked them. Even though there was video, who do you think the judge believed? Just keep in mind in this video that Derrick was recording, so James turned off the lights. And this is what happens when Derrick tried to turn them back on.
Get away from me! Get away from me! Quit hitting me! Get away from me! Get away from me! Stop! Get your hands off me! Get your hands off me! Get your hands off me!
What the fuck was this, James?
The level of restraint that this young man is showing deserves a goddamn medicals. Boy, y'all seen how that old man was faking the phone? Bro, we see you. We see you. No wonder the daughter knows how to play victim like that is from a goddamn father.
What the fuck was this? Either commit to the bit or actually try to frame the guy. And while James did get arrested for simple battery that night, unfortunately so did Derrick, who's never been arrested before in his life. Yep, that's right. They believed the word of the pale-faced, prominent, rich folks. The judge actually flipped the order, and Derrick was forced to leave his home. But let's talk about Janet for a minute. In 2018, Janet Hardy tried to take her brother to court to challenge their parents' will. So I don't know a lot about estate will off the bat, so I had to do a lot of research on this topic in order to kind of figure out what was going on. So Janet's parents lived in their home for 40 years. For 1 month, they moved in with her, and then she became power of attorney, in which she put them in a nursing home where they both died. Now, as power of attorney, she was trying to sell their house. But after they passed, their assets were to legally be divided between her and her brother. In order to challenge this ruling, she tried to say that her parents had planned to move back in with her eventually so that she could get the power of probate moved from one county to a different one. And given what's been happening with the judge over in Rockdale County, my guess is that she has some friends in pretty high places, which my guess would have more than likely named her sole inheritant. Now, I don't know how deep this goes, but we can conclude that it has something to do with Connie Holt, the magistrate judge of Rockdale County. Now, I don't know if she's been making these rulings based on personal relationships or if it's simply racial, but I gotta tell you, she's on some old bullshit. I don't have time to do it in this video, it's gonna be in the next. Trust me, after you hear what she's been doing, you're probably gonna want to make some calls. Now, this is where things get real effed up and the conspiracy begins. Theoretically, even though he wasn't allowed at the property, Derrick could have started eviction proceedings to get them out of his house, except for the fact that suddenly Janet and Jay Hardy were gonna file for divorce. Then Jay filed a return of deed on behalf of Janet in order to try and liquidate the assets that he claimed she was basically trying to hide in their divorce through Derrick's business. Because of this petition, basically any legal avenues around the property were frozen until it was disputed in court. Meaning Derrick couldn't even evict them until after a judge ruled on this matter. Again, keep in mind that James Hardy is a professional millionaire landlord, so he knows all the tricks of the property business. He named Derrick and his business as third-party defendants in his case against Janet. Now, legally, if Derrick didn't respond within 30 days, then it would be a default judgment and the deed would return to Janet, supposedly to liquidate the assets for the divorce in this bogus charade. Now, Jay's lawyers claimed that they filed this third-party complaint. However, there was no court records of this filing. They tried to pull one over on Derrick and only gave him a copy of the summons, which means he was trying to trick Derrick into not filing a complaint in response and stealing his land legally. And these court documents prove that he is more than willing to lie in open court, as is Janet, which should destroy all credibility they have. I personally think this whole divorce was just a legal tactic to try and get this property back, especially considering in all these months during their divorce, Janet never hired an attorney for representation. Jay did, but not Janet. Shortly after this judgment from the Superior Court, they reconciled, though James was still claiming to not live on the property. And then this is what happened when Derrick tried to legally go back into his home.
Yeah, because I'm not going to keep on letting you put your hands on me. Get out of the house. This isn't your house. Get out of my face. Get out.
Dad, don't do anything, Dad. Dad, stop. Dad, stop.
Move.
wanted it.
Yep.
Chris Key would have wanted it. What happened to me?
You're pushing me. Why are you talking about my dead brother?
What are you going to do about it? He's dead anyways.
Let me walk away before I really. You really. Stay away from me! I'm warning you. Stay away from me.
Chris Key would have hated you.
Stay away from me.
Chris Key hates you. He almost hit me. Hit me because Chris Key would have wanted it. Chris Key wants you to punch me. So
Get away from me.
get out of my house. Chris Key would have hated you. He hates you. He's dead.
You hurtful. Get away! Get away from my door! I just want to be very pointed that Judge Holt has advised that she is not, and will not entertain you all pressing charges against Jordan Hardy tonight for the matter that I called you out for.
Not tonight. Like I said, in my definition, it's going to fit perfectly because she was fine. I mean, that video is what, 10, 15 minutes long?
Okay.
Obviously, the antagonist the whole time. There was a point where there was some shoving going on that would have never happened had she not kept on and kept on.
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight that's a no-go for me, but it's not over yet.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
So at first, the police were in fact going to arrest Jordan and press charges. However, in the middle of this, they got a phone call from Judge Holt who told them they couldn't do that. I have never heard of a judge interfering with an arrest. And also, how did she already know what was going on? I genuinely cannot figure that part out. I believe it was January, don't quote me on that, but I believe it was January that Derrick finally got his day in court for the eviction proceeding. I'm going to go ahead and skim over most of the proceedings, but essentially what it boiled down to is she threw out the eviction. She essentially told Derrick that he had filed the wrong motion, that he was looking for a ejection, not an eviction. An eviction happens between a landlord and a tenant, whereas an ejection happens to basically a squatter or a non-tenant. While verbal leases are legally binding in Georgia, it is harder to prove that you had a verbal lease. But at this point, Janet has stopped paying the mortgage on the property, but she does pay the utility bills, which to me, I mean, that seems like a landlord-tenant situation to me, especially when, again, they don't have the deed to the property. It is legally Derrick's. The judge then claimed that the deed was in question, even though it's never been in question. There's never been any sort of motion or defense that has questioned the deed. So then Derrick has to go through this whole process again, filing for an ejection. I'll tag his TikTok below. If you all want to support him, here's his Facebook page. Go follow it. And I've linked his GoFundMe in my bio.
Right. I think she told you that I am recording you serving me.
That's fine.
Okay, gotcha.
Mr.
Okay.
Williamson.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a TPO hearing for March the 15th. You go March the 15th at 9 a.m. And I believe this is out of Morgan County.
And who is this from? Connie Holt. Okay.
You know Connie Holt.
That's Judge Holt.
Is the judge?
That's Judge Holt from Morgan County, the magistrate judge. Morgan County. Yeah, she's the chief magistrate judge of Morgan County.
Okay, so as of now, Derrick was found guilty of stalking Judge Connie Holt, but he's still fighting for his farm. The thing is, even though Judge Connie Holt recused herself from Derrick's case, get this, the judge who found Derrick guilty of stalking is now the new judge.
Hey, what's going on TikTok? I know a lot of you have been wanting an update from me. Judge Connie Holt, the one that recused herself off my case, that's kept me out of my home for the last year, that is a chief magistrate court judge of Morgan County, Georgia. She filed TPO against me, right, and accusing me of being a stalker. So get this, the hearing was what, the 15th of March, I believe it was. And I had to go into Superior Court, which is upstairs. Her courtroom's downstairs. The Superior Court judge is upstairs. So that's Judge Stephen Bradley, right? And he obviously knows Judge Holt very good because she binds her cases over to him. They are co-workers, they're colleagues, they're good friends, obviously. So how can it be fair for me to have to go before the Superior Court Judge Stephen Bradley against the Chief Magistrate Court Judge who rules downstairs, and she stepped out of her role as a judge into the role of a plaintiff to pursue her charge against me of being a quote unquote stalker. So it turns out we went to court that day, and it was a lot that's there. I'm waiting on a transcript to get back so that I can share with you guys. Bottom line is this right here. In that hearing, although it should have never been tried in Morgan County, and because I have not been a resident of Morgan County for over a year now, I've been kicked out of my home. This Judge Holt kicked me out of my home over a year, right? So then how am I supposed to be tried in Morgan County? It should be Rockdale County. But the judge, her friend, refused to remove the jurisdiction because obviously they're trying to cover up the corruption that they're doing there. And get this too, all right? I found guilty, okay, of stalking Judge Holt, right? But I've never spoken to her on the phone. I've never done anything out of the way, never reached out to her other than in the courtroom, all right? After this case has went on. Judge Holt went as far as to lie under oath. She said I broke into her office, right? And I had to have a police escorted out. All this craziness, stuff that make no sense. With no validity, they found me guilty of stalking, okay? The Chief Magistrate Court Judge. So that means that after being found guilty, if you were found guilty of stalking, that means that you are not able to own a firearm. So according to my understanding, then they've taken my First Amendment, right, which is a freedom of speech. I used the word corruption. I did say that there is corruption going on in Morgan County judicial system. We've seen the evidence. We've seen the interfering. And now for them to try me in the Superior Court of Morgan County against the Chief Magistrate Court Judge that rules downstairs, and you bring me upstairs to her friend, the Superior Court Judge, how can I have a free trial? How can I have a fair trial, should I say? Then it's not fair. And on top of that, it should have been moved to Rockdale County. My residency has been in Rockdale County for the last year now, simply because Judge Holt removed me from my home illegally because I am the deed holder, the sole deed holder of my company, 100% shareholder, and giving my property over to the Hardys. My animals have been stolen. They've destroyed the property. All these things have happened and so forth, and it should have never happened. They're trying to cover up the corruption that's happening in Morgan County. And let me give you guys a little hint of why they didn't want to bind the case over to Rockdale County where it should have been held at. Because they wanted to cover up the fact that they want to shut me up. They want to take my First Amendment right away. Because I've been telling you all what's happening, and there's been tension going on, and they're being exposed for the evil and the corruption that they're doing, right? Rockdale County Superior Court Judge, the Honorable Judge Mumford, ruled in my favor, a Superior Court ruling. So therefore, if it was bound over to Rockdale County, then guess who had to stand before the Honorable Judge Mumford? Yeah. Judge Holt had to, and had to produce his bogus stalker argument to him, and he wasn't going to be for it because it was wrong. They had nothing on me. They even said inside of the hearing, and I'll produce those transcripts soon. I'm still waiting on them. They even said that you've done nothing wrong. You have the freedom of speech. They even said you can say whatever you want to say, which is true. They are elected, and she is an elected official. So me calling her corrupt, if that was enough to get me convicted get me guilty of becoming a stalker and having a criminal record now, and they gave me the maximum. They gave me 12 months in the state of Georgia. Maximum 12 months upon being found guilty. So therefore, I am not allowed inside of the courthouse. So I needed to go get court documents today. But guess what? The Superior Court Judge, Stephen Bradley, told me you are not allowed in the courthouse until I rule on your home. Until you're here for the ruling of your home that he will be actually ruling on. Get that? Her friend that just crazily convicted me of being a stalker is now the one set the rule on my deed and my property in Morgan County. I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. Please continue to tag people of influence on here. This is crazy. It should not be happening, but it's real. I've been kicked out of my home over a year now. Go through the other stories and see everything that's been happening. it's a lot, and I'm trying the best I can to stay focused through it, because I'm trying not to play their game and do the things back. But it's difficult because it's so much mess going on in this right here that I'm trying the best I can to stay focused.
Judge Holt said, I never contacted her directly, yet I was found guilty of stalking an elected official. And she lied several times under oath.
Man, that's a wild situation with so many red flags, bro. It looks like the wife straight up took advantage of Derrick. She found a good person, and I think she really was trying to hire some money. That's why I believe she really was trying to hire some money. When you think about what was her purpose of doing what she was doing. And this is the why I believe this. Because of their own daughter's statement, due to their dad's alleged wild ass escapade, some shit that I'm not even gonna mention. You feel me? I can't. The mom was looking to divorce Buddy in 2021. Now, if y'all want the details on that, go and check out Nerdy Pink Panda's TikTok. She talking about all that. Me, I don't want no smoke. Y'all see that boy, his money, the dad money goes a long way. A long way. I ain't got the money to fight this man in court, so I ain't saying nothing because he got everything that was allegedly said about him wiped. It's not on his record. It is what it is. So I'm admittedly ducking the smoke. If y'all want me to be able to fight some legal fees in the future, smash the like button. So with that being said, I do believe the mom was trying to move some money around and saw Derrick as an easy opportunity as a come up. Well, not really a come up, but an opportunity to get away with moving money around. And with her connections, it seems that she knew that no matter what, there was going to be some type of way, if it came down to it, if the opportunity presented itself, despite the business being in Derrick's name, despite the deed being in Derrick's name, she knew with her plugs that she was going to be able to give him a tough time when it came to holding on to that property. And it's my humble opinion that she never had any passion for this business at all, and she just sold Derrick a dream, in my opinion. So moral of the story is, like I told y'all at the beginning of this video, beware of taking handouts from shady people. And nigga, I mean a shade that ain't yours, goddammit. Now, not all white folks is bad. That's not what I'm saying. But to really get a lot of money, you're going to have to do business with white folks. It is what it is. But the handouts is where the problem comes. Because you always have to ask yourself, what could this person gain from doing this for me? And whatever answer you arrive to, you got to move accordingly based on that. It all depends on the situation. Be careful with over leveraging yourself in this world, in this life. Don't over leverage yourself. Take calculated risk and always seek advisement from mutual parties or shit. Better yet, people who have your best interests at heart that's going to vouch for you, fight for you. Make sure you always are making decisions with them in your corner. Hopefully Derrick is able to find a happy resolution to the situation right here, and he gets reunited with his farm and be able to start a new farm, you know, 100% on his own, like completely detached from the Hardy family, you feel me? But that's the situation in a nutshell from this perspective. There's always another side to the story. Maybe it may come out. You got to go ahead and search for yourself. I wanted to do my part by helping the brother out. I don't see a lot of black farmers out here. I wanted to help the brother out by pushing his story out there because I see he has a true love for what he's doing, and it's sad to see that he believed that it seemed like his dream career he had in his grasp and his palms, and it's being ripped away. It's an unfortunate situation he was in, and we're seeing some unfortunate results from that point. You guys, let me know in the comment section below. Go ahead and check out Nerdy Pink Panda and their descriptions, their links, will be in the description below. Go ahead and check them out and continue following the story and offer any help if you feel like you want to help. Offer any help if you can to them. But other than that, just let me know what y'all think about this whole situation in the comment section below. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, though. It's your boy Stacy. Yo.